Greetings from Storybrooke. I'm Bobby Hawk.
And I'm Elizabeth Placencia.
And this is where we follow the strand to witness our fates. We also talk about ABC's hit series Once Upon a Time. How you doing tonight, Elizabeth?
I'm doing okay. I've been up since like 3:30 this morning, so I'm a little strapped for energy, but I'm going to be fine.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Wait, I'm trying to think about it. You know what? I've probably been up since about 5 this morning. So
okay.
not quite as long as you, but
that's when I started work this morning was 5 a.m.
Like you actually were at work at 5. Oh, okay. So you were up at 3:30 to be there at 5. I got you. All right. All right. And usually Tony would be with us tonight, but he had some other things to take care of. So Tony, just know that we're with you, and
we love you, Tony.
Yeah, we love you, Tony. Good luck at dealing with what you got to deal with. But enough about that. Elizabeth, why don't you hit us up with this week's rhyming summary?
All right. Season 6, Episode 9. Belle follows the strand to her son's dreamland. Emma and Hook are on the chase to see what Rumple has done in this case. Rumbelle's baby is born in a flash. To save him from Rumple, the heroes must make a quick dash. Rumple's mother is also finally revealed in this week's Changelings.
Changelings. So
it was hard to come up with a rhyme for Changelings.
What did you think of tonight's episode? Just, quick spoiler.
Honestly, it baffled me. I was at a loss for words. I couldn't make any notes the first run through.
There were certainly quite a few things going on this week. I will give you that.
Yes. Very much true.
Let me see. Sorry, I was trying to check on the chat room. You've got the chat room up, you said, right? And no one's in there yet. Yet.
Oh, wait, we have guest 5802.
That is probably, well, no.
Oh, it's Aaron. I should say hi.
Right. Hello, Aaron. How you doing? It's great to see you in chat. Always love to hear your feedback every week too. You have great feedback. Anyway,
thank you, Aaron, for joining us.
Well, it's nice to have at least one.
I asked him how he's doing. He says he's good.
It's nice to have someone in chat. All right, so let's get into the main discussion this week. There's usually, a few different stories going on in each episode, but this week's main story seemed to be about Rumple and Belle. And, I've always been one of the few people I felt like for a while now, people have been like, I've had enough. Why can't Belle just like see the forest for the trees and, just give up on the situation already?
Kidding.
I've been the one person though I don't want to say Rumple's court, but I've been the one person who's actually held out hope, and noticed in the storyline that there are parallels to real life with Rumple being addicted to magic, just like someone else might be addicted to other things in real life, whatever vice that may be, and just how an addicted person acts, always trying to justify their actions and whatnot. So I've always noticed, or I've always, I guess notice is the word I'm looking for, like the allegory as far as Rumple's story goes. But I just am so like, I'm done. I'm done. Because like so many times Rumple has redeemed himself. He killed Peter Pan, and himself, or he killed himself, to kill Peter Pan, I guess that was. He has given up things. He has, done things for the good of others. But then it always seems like whenever he takes 2 steps forward, he takes like 6 steps back.
7 steps back.
Yeah, and
I was actually just about to use that analogy.
But then it's always at the same time, I always feel like when they do that, the writers always try to throw in some sort of justification as to like why Rumple acts the way he does, and I just don't know if I can accept any more justifications.
Yeah. Our Aaron in the chat room is saying that he's actually starting to ship Rumbelle again. And I asked him why. I'm waiting for a reply. But oh, that rhymed.
Right. Hey,
But,
you're getting pretty good at the rhymes there, Elizabeth.
a little practice here and there helps along. But I've been with the whole Rumbelle situation. I've been over it for years now. It's just it's a bad romance. Like it's just he is so bad for Belle. It's an emotional abuse, and that's what it is. That's just called spade a spade. That's what it is. It's emotional abuse. And
no, go ahead, Elizabeth. No, go.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No. All I was gonna say is I feel like they tried to justify Belle staying with Rumple in this episode by making her witness, the exchange between Rumple and the Black Fairy. To like maybe like this is why she's been on his side this whole time, because she sees not only the beast not only the man behind the beast, but she sees what created the beast from the man.
I mean, I've always understood where she's coming from, but at the same time, it's just enough is enough. It's just he has tried in the past to redeem himself, but like you said, it's one step forward, 20 steps back with Rumple.
Yeah,
and it's enough is enough with their romance. It's not gonna go anywhere. She doesn't want to be with him. She just gave up her son.
Yeah. At this point, I kind of feel like, it is a little too late. And when I do try to bring up any justification, I almost feel like at this point I'm just playing devil's advocate.
You really are.
Okay, so like you were just pointing out about the giving up Gideon, I guess is what she named this baby.
Yeah, I thought she named him.
I don't know if I feel like that was earned in this episode. Do you feel like it was earned? That do you think that was kind of fast forwarded, that she was going to give up the baby like that, or do you feel like that I don't know. I feel like that just came kind of out of nowhere. It doesn't feel like it was. A lot of things in this episode feel like it's just. Well, actually, a lot of things in the show feel like they just happen because the writers dictate that it happens, and a lot of things don't feel earned from episode to episode.
See, I don't know what you mean by the word earned, but
the story, I don't know. You I don't know how to put what I'm trying to say. You have, like the writers have to earn like the character's place in the story. You can't just say this is what's happening. There has to be you have to give good reasoning behind why this character would choose to make this decision. And a lot of times it just feels like they just have characters make decisions, and the decision doesn't feel earned. I don't know how any other way to put it.
Well, I just think I forgot my thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm just for that particular topic with the whole baby giving up thing. Can I go there?
Please go.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it is so ridiculous. Okay, Snow gave up Emma. Emma gave up Henry. now Belle is giving up Gideon. It's a pattern, and it's a ridiculous one. Well, I understood I understand each one. I do understand it, but I feel like there should always be another way instead of giving up your child. It's really sad.
Well, I mean, you actually kind of left out a few there. I mean, you got the Black Fairy who gave up Rumple.
Yeah.
You've got Rumple, who more or less.
She didn't give up Rumple for his best chance.
We don't. Who? Black Fairy?
Yeah.
Do we know that? We don't.
She seemed like a selfish bitch.
So does Rumple.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
And but, I mean, we've been told time and time again that it's not just because he's selfish, even though the way he goes about it is in selfish ways. But ultimately, what he's trying to, I don't know. It's hard to say because, like, he keeps telling himself what he wants isn't selfish, but ultimately, the actions he takes make it selfish. But as far as babies being gone, at least with Gideon, we have a reason that we're now no longer going to see the baby, as opposed to just like barely ever mentioning baby Neil. That look at the bright side, I guess. But I mean, to touch on to my next topic, which kind of goes on to this main story. I mean, as far as the Black Fairy goes.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
In the
did you have
chat
more?
room,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
in the chat room, so guest 5802, I think that's Aaron,
Right.
said, can't Blue just put a protection spell on Gideon? Pan is also that, and I don't know what that comment is referencing to. But, I mean, yeah, I wish a protection spell would work, but I don't think Against the Dark One a protection spell is going to help.
Yeah, and plus there were quite a few moments in this episode where he even stated as much when he was paralyzed by the squid ink, and he said, "You think some dried squid ink's going to hold me back? I've become much more powerful, more powerful." I don't know, whatever he said, but I mean, they've tried to justify that a little bit. And what was I saying? Did you have anything? Pan is also a witch with a B. Apparently, that's what he was saying. All right. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second, Elizabeth. Did you have anything else to touch on about the children being taken away and whatnot?
I just think it's really sad, and what was I gonna say? That I just don't think it should be that way. I think that there should be an alternate way to deal with this on the show instead of just giving up children and having them become orphans. And it's just sad.
I mean, it's always about why they did it and everything else like that. But but I think, what was it that Belle said earlier? I mean, that's something that comes up quite a bit in this show about giving them a better chance.
Yeah.
That's said time and time. In fact, I think every time a baby is given up, that's the justification they use, is giving it a better chance. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I almost have that like every time.
Do you think Belle would have believed Rumple?
About what?
If he had told her that he wasn't the one that accelerated her pregnancy, that it was Regina?
No, I don't think she'd believe him. I really don't. I just feel like she would think it's a lie or an excuse to get her back.
But at the same time, I almost feel like even if she did believe him, it would be like, well, she wouldn't have even been able to do that if you hadn't given her the power to do so. Because, like Regina wouldn't even had the magic to do that. If, like, Regina even said it in the episode, you're the one who created the magic. I'm just the one who does the tea.
Yeah, she did say that.
All right. Did you have something else to add?
I'm between looking at the chat room and listening to you, so I'm sorry if I don't sound like I'm listening. I am. I'm just
I know.
having a hard time between the two. Aaron says, I could see why Pan would want to be with the Black Fairy, but I don't see why the Black Fairy would want to be with Pan.
And that's exactly where I'm going to next. So like you said earlier, we finally learn why Rumple, who Rumple's mom is. Yeah. And apparently like just no one has ever treated Rumple right, because his mom hated him, his dad hated him, his wife hated him. Who else, who hasn't slighted Rumple? It seems like,
Belle?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, Belle's the one person who finally has said enough's enough. I've tried to give you chances because I've seen what, roads you've been down, and anyway, but so we learn why Rumple hates fairies. And he's always hated fairies. So I kind of liked how this backstory, call it a retcon if you will, but it does jive a little more than most of the times where they try to fit stories into. I could see this being the reason why Rumple hates fairies. But like the guest said in the chat room, what I don't see is this. What was Peter Pan's name? I know he had a name when he was just Rumple's dad, right?
When it was the older man, right?
Right.
Oh, I don't remember.
I was
No.
trying to rack my brain earlier. I couldn't remember, but at this point, let's just say Peter Pan.
I remember his face. I'm better with faces than I am with names.
So like I said, let's just say, let's just call him Peter Pan. So yeah, I don't see why the Black Fairy would have gotten with Peter Pan to begin with. So was it just like a one night stand, and then the fairy? Because like the fairy obviously has never probably even seen, which that doesn't even make too much sense either. How do you not even know like what your
Malcolm. His name was Malcolm.
Malcolm? Thank you. Well, who said that? Was that you or the chat?
That was the chat. Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat. But anyway, like I was saying, I don't understand how the Black Fairy got with Malcolm. I don't understand why the Black Fairy left Rumple in the first place. Why is the Black Fairy stealing babies from their mother's arms? And then what exactly is she doing with all of these babies?
It's more questions to keep you coming back for more.
But see, that's the thing. I doubt we'll ever learn any of these. I mean, okay, I take that back.
True.
I take that back. I have a feeling that we'll probably get at least an answer to a few of those questions, hopefully this season.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully.
I mean, if the rest of the show is any inkling, I mean, how many times have we been, given questions and just left with no answers? And I'm kind of tired of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
it's part of any good show. It really is.
Yeah, but no. What's part of a good show is actually answering the questions, at least for the most part. I do understand there has to be some mystery there, but like when you bring up, like, okay, for instance, like I'm saying with this Black Fairy thing, and for me, I would want at least by the end of the season, we've seen maybe an episode with her and or Malcolm to get some sort of backstory as to why she left Rumple in the first place, and what made her the Black Fairy. Is that something that we'll just never know? Is that just another thing that was just dictated?
We'll get to it. I don't know when, but it's not going to be this half season, but we'll definitely get to it.
Well, that's another thing too.
Half.
That's another thing too, kind of a tangent off of what we're saying here. But as far as you were saying about this half season, how many more? Do you know how many more episodes we have?
There's one more episode. Next week is the mid-season finale.
Really?
It's just in.
Really?
Yeah, next week. I think it's only 1 hour because when they previewed it, the next week's episode, I didn't hear them say anything about special 2 hours or anything like that, like they usually would. So I think it's just a regular 1 hour episode.
So we're not getting the Robin Hood episode probably till next half season then.
It doesn't look like it.
Wow. See, I was totally expecting to at least get that episode in this half season.
No, from what I saw with we'll talk about the preview later, that's spoilers.
Right.
But
wow, I'm very surprised.
And in the chat, our chat says that he thinks that we'll see the Black Fairy again.
Oh yeah, like I said, I do think we'll see at least an episode or two. Like I said, I think we'll probably see an episode of why she gave Rumple away. We'll probably get a totally Black Fairy centric episode where we'll learn why she became dark, why she gave Rumple away, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure all of that will actually probably have everything to, like the whole her and Rumple, like her having Rumple thing will probably have something to do with her becoming dark. Maybe there's some situation where like fairies aren't supposed to be with mortals or have children, and she chose to go against the fairies and became dark that way. I don't know. That's just me kind of speculating off the top of my head.
So from what Aaron has heard, he has heard that Robin is in the next episode, but I could have sworn he's in episode 12. But he's got he's going to be in a few episodes. So.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's going to be an arc. So maybe we'll see him at like maybe we'll see him like that will
The
be
last
the
30
finale.
seconds
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
episode.
Exactly. Zelina will see him or whatever. And it'll probably have something to do with the feather from his bow.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna
Well,
speculate
I
on the next week's
remember
episode yet.
I remember in the episode where like Zelina was going crazy looking for the feather for Regina, that like Regina was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm sure it'll pop up." And then they both left the park bench or wherever it was they were standing, and the feather comes floating down.
Yeah, that was sad. That was a sad
Did,
moment.
as far as it looks like you had more to share about Rumple and what his motivations are.
Yeah, so Rumple said in the episode that he wants his son to love him. And I am not a parent. And I will be
Okay.
the first, and I admit I'm not a parent. But from my understanding, if you want children, you should want children because you want to bring love into the world. You want to give love. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about receiving love from your children. That's great when they're older, but as babies, you need to take care of them. They need you, not you need them. And so that's my understanding of how life should be. So
Okay.
I think that his understanding is very backwards.
I think the key word you use there is should. But I think there's also been quite a few um, instances shown in this series where, like, I mean, look at Cora's last words when she looked at Regina and said, you would have been enough. Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes parents do need the love of their children to overcome certain obstacles in their own life.
But that again, that's when they're kind of older, isn't it?
What when the children are older?
When the children are older.
Not necessarily. I mean, when you're talking about going back to what I was talking about Rumple earlier, when you're talking about someone who's going through addiction and stuff like that, I mean, uh, you know, sometimes it's the love of a child that can get you out of the never-ending cycle of addiction.
You're right. You're really right. No, I agree with you.
Well, I wasn't trying to change your mind, but I appreciate
No,
that.
it's not that you changed your mind. It's that you have a valid point, and I'm seeing that you do.
No, but I mean, and that's what I like about the Rumple storyline is that you know sometimes addiction, like when it is a never-ending cycle. You do, I mean, sometimes you can be fine for quite a while, quite an extended period of time before you fall into your old ways again, unfortunately. But anyway, enough about Rumple, because like I said, that is the main story of this episode. But
Yeah.
I love when Zelina and Regina are together. I almost every time they share a scene, it becomes one of my favorite scenes of the episode. And this episode is no different. Specifically when Regina, okay, I love that Regina came to Zelina's aid, even though she has the feelings that she does. I really did not think Regina would cross that line that Rumple wanted her to cross, but
Evil
obviously
Queen.
she did. Or Evil Queen. I know it's hard to. It's sorry. Thank you for correcting me, though. Okay, but obviously she did. But Zelina just wants to be loved, and
Yeah.
Regina was pushing her away, and the Evil Queen was showing her that love. So I can almost like I can't blame Zelina for feeling, or okay, I can see why Zelina was doing the things she was doing. But at the same time, ultimately, she did, realize that she shouldn't. I don't know if she realized. Anyway, the the discussion that Zelina and Regina had, where Zelina was telling Regina, what about you? You were forgiven. Why can't I be forgiven? And then that's dead on. I mean, then Regina came back at her with, "Oh, well, you're not me." And the first thing that came to my head was, you're right. Selena's not you. She didn't kill an entire village out of spite. So I really don't see how Regina has any room to judge as far as Zelina is concerned. I do understand that she's having a hard time forgetting, as far as she was responsible for, or at least partially responsible for, uh, killing the man that she loved. But I mean, come on, Regina's the last person who has any room to give Zelina any crap. And in my opinion, should be the one person that should understand what Zelina's going through.
When it comes to the whole village thing, all I can really say is we need to let it go. Let it go.
I can't. I know. I know. I keep bringing that up, but I mean, that's not the only thing she did. That's just the most foul thing she did.
Yeah,
I mean, she killed Snow White's dad.
Yeah, she did.
Henry.
No.
She killed her own dad.
She killed Snow's mom too. Oh no, wait, Cora killed the mom. Never mind.
Yeah, and then Regina killed her own dad.
Yeah, to enact the curse.
I mean, like I said, I could understand, when Robin Hood was, against her, but in the end, wasn't even Robin trying to say that they should give her a chance, or no?
Who?
Robin Hood, before he, before he left the show. Zelina.
No, he didn't want to give her a chance. I
thought at the very end.
No, that was Regina that was saying we should give her a chance.
Okay.
Robin Hood did not want to give her that baby.
No. I know that, but I thought that I could have sworn that there was a certain, like at the very last moment. I don't know. Like I said, obviously I was wrong. But, was there anything you had? Okay, well. So, do you have anything else to touch on about Zelina and Regina?
No, I do not.
No, sorry. You do not know. That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, I just really love Regina and Zelina. I don't know. I love when they're in scenes together. They can go from one end to the other. I love when they're camping it up, like that scene where they had in like the spa a few episodes ago. But then I also love. Cool. Touching moments between them, like there was in tonight's episode. But before we move on to other topics, I do want to mention the Universe Box Patreon. So Bill and Anne Marie do have the Patreon that you can subscribe to, starting at like $1 a month, and it does plenty of great things. When you're a member, you can join the Patreon exclusive hangouts where everyone gets together and it's just like a little friendly chat, just about any discussion at all. And they do that once a month. They also have periodically different commentaries they might do that they only release to the Patreon for the first few months or whatnot. And your donations go towards a great cause, and that's creating great podcasts for you. They have, of course, they've got We're So Lost, the Lost podcast. They do Legends of Gotham, the podcast about Gotham. They have their twice a week podcast about pop culture news, the flagship Universe Box. And then, of course, they also produce the podcast you're listening to right now, Greetings from Storybrooke. All of these podcasts can be found at universebox.com. And sorry, I was doing so well and I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Remember to think outside.
There we go. Like I said, any level, anywhere from $1 to $50. $50, they'll even produce a podcast for you, with you, about the topic you want to talk about. So, and just if you want to check it out, that's at patreon.com/universebox. And remember to think outside. All right, so moving on. Elizabeth, you wanted to talk about Aladdin and Jasmine a bit, and the genie.
Yes, I did. So I loved the scene with Aladdin and Jasmine. I was not expecting Aladdin to. Well, first off, when Jasmine rubbed the lamp and then the bracelets came out, I was surprised because I really thought Jafar was probably in the lamp.
Yeah, I
So that
think
was
we
a
all
good
did.
surprise that he wasn't. But then when Aladdin puts on the bracelets, I'm like, okay, that's cool that he feels that I felt like it was a tribute to the genie, and by extension, a tribute to Robin Williams, um, to say he's free. He's in a like it's like saying he's in a better place. And as a huge Robin Williams fan, that is of great comfort to me to hear something like that. So when Aladdin puts on those bracelets and becomes a genie, I think it's a nice twist in the story because I never thought Aladdin could become the genie himself, and I just really enjoyed that scene. And I'm nervous to know what happens as Aladdin is the genie in the next few episodes, or however the rest of the season he is the genie.
Movie is any if you watch the movie, I guess the last thing Jasmine could do is just wish for Aladdin's freedom.
Yeah, and I'm sure she'll do that, but when?
No, I understand. Well, I mean, obviously, she will have to use him to do whatever needs to be done in Agrabah. But yes, and I totally agree with you. I did not see that coming at all as far as Aladdin. But to be honest with you, as soon as they fell out, yes, you're right. I totally thought Jafar was going to be in the lamp, but so now where is he at this point? That's another thing is we haven't gotten I guess we haven't got the middle story. We know like the backstory of Aladdin and Jasmine, and we know that for a moment there, Aladdin was weakened or whatever happened to him, and then like we don't really have what happened after that, like in between that and Aladdin being in the enchanted forest apparently, and then being brought to here, all of that, we don't really know. First of all, if any of that's true, quite honestly, my my theory was that has always been since the first episode of the season is that Aladdin is the cloaked figure in Emma's prophecy. Now that theory is beginning to look less and less likely. I wouldn't say I'll rule it out entirely, but I am beginning to, for a minute, I felt so strongly about that theory that I wasn't even thinking of anything else. But now that, like I said, now that it's looking less likely, I'm wondering just who is the cloaked figure,
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering the same thing.
And that's going into my last point here as far as what's been going on or what happened in this episode is as far as Emma and Hook and the prophecy, have there really been any clues? I mean, besides, I guess, the sword they just showed in this episode, have there been any clues as to who the cloaked figure is?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think that I've noticed anything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know, okay, for those who might not have heard what my theory was to begin with, what I thought was that, okay, Aladdin was the savior, and we see that the savior being the savior takes its toll on you. So what I felt happened was that somehow Aladdin found out a way to maybe go on and kill saviors in order to steal their essence so that he could make himself well again. And so my theory was that he was going
Voldemort thing.
Yeah, my theory was that Aladdin, was justifying it to himself, that he wasn't a villain, but that he was going from story to story, almost like a Highlander, there can be only one type deal. And that's what was what my theory was. But now that, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's necessarily totally negated, but I do feel it's definitely less and less and less likely. And at this point, I mean, I would be totally disappointed if it was simply just like the evil queen or even Regina as the cloaked figure, because I feel like that would be too easy.
I agree. I think that would be too easy as well. And what if it's maybe to throw out, just a random? What if it's Jasmine, or what if it's Snow White? Like, well, no, it can't be Snow White because she was watching Emma, right? Die.
Yes, I believe it's Emma Charming, or not Emma, Snow
Because
Charming,
Hook is there,
and Hook
Henry's
and
there,
Henry. Yes,
Snow and Charming. It's just the
yes,
four of them, right?
I believe so, because that's what Emma's big revelation when she thought Regina was the cloaked figure, was that it had to be someone in her group of people that wasn't present in that group that you were just talking about, and the only person in that group that's not present is Regina.
Yeah. I mean, but it doesn't necessarily have to be someone close to her.
No, it doesn't. That's what, like I
Yeah.
said, my original theory was that it was Aladdin. I mean, at this point, it could be Jafar even. I mean,
I think it might be Jafar at this point.
I'm sure the sword has a lot to do with, that sword doesn't look familiar at all.
No.
So I was trying to place like where I would have seen the sword or why that sword had any significance, but in all actuality, I really couldn't find anything at all.
No, to me, the jewel and the sword just reminded me of what was in the Cave of Wonders. Like, it looked like the gold from the Cave of Wonders. That's what it looked like to me.
Okay.
But I can't place it in there,
No, I understand. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I just really hope that it's surprising, that the story's worth it, and that I hope it's not just something stupid like it's the evil queen or Regina in the cloaked figure, because yeah, at that point I'm just gonna throw my hands up and say what the yeah. Almost messed up there. Anyway, as far as the
Bill Meeks is here.
Who?
Bill Meeks.
Oh, Bill Meeks is in the chat room?
Yeah, he is.
Hello, Bill Meeks. How are you today? All right. So anyway, on to our arbitrary.
He's in there.
It does say he's in there. Maybe he's just lurking. Lurker. Oh, howdy, Bill. All right. So anyway, like I said, onto our arbitrary scale. Out of 427 babies stolen from their mother's arms, horrible. Liz, what are you going to give this episode?
Poor babies. I'm gonna say like 200. Like,
wow, you did not like this episode, huh?
It wasn't my favorite by any means. And I've had a hard time figuring out what to say for this episode, like I've been kind of at a loss.
Well, I feel like you've shared quite a bit. I mean, so okay, you say you don't know what to say about this episode. Is there anything in particular that makes it scale so low for you?
Not that I can think of it.
Just in general, you just didn't care for the episode.
Yeah,
huh?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Is there here's maybe an easier question. Is there anything you liked about the episode? Can you point out like a few things you maybe actually liked about the episode?
Oh yeah, no, I like the scene with Aladdin and Jasmine and the tribute to the genie. I love that.
Yeah, it seems like you've liked a lot of the Aladdin and Jasmine story this season.
Yeah, well, I've always had a crush on Aladdin. So.
All right,
and he's now a very cute actor. So there you go.
Yeah, even though he's Cockney, not Indian.
Bill gives it 384.
Okay, and as far as does he have any reasoning? As far
Do you
as
have any reasoning, Bill?
Well,
I love that he says I love an arbitrary scale that involves tragic babies.
Yeah, I kind of the arbitrary scale was definitely in honor of Bill Meeks this week. I was definitely thinking of him when I made up the arbitrary scale.
And how many babies would you give it?
Okay, this episode has the same flaws I've always had. I definitely liked quite a few of the character moments and different beats of the episode, but all in all, when you try to step back and fit it into everything that's going on, I really don't know how much it jives or how much the story was earned. So I'm kind of I don't think I disliked it as much as you did, Elizabeth, but I'm probably right there with Bill Meeks. I'm gonna say 377.
Okay. All right then.
All right, so
And then, and Bill said it was decent. Loved the blackberry twist.
okay, as far as probably, I guess he's talking
That's
about
why he gave it 384.
right. As far as the twist of him being her being her mom, I just wish that we could get any kind of backstory on someone who actually treated Rumple with respect, because at this point, like anyone,
It doesn't exist, and it's really sad.
I guess Balefire. Maybe that's why he loves kids so much. Is like the only people who have shown him any love are his kids at one point or another.
Well, kid. I mean, the one can't show him love. The new one can.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Maybe that's why he's stealing babies, because that's the only only time anyone has ever shown him any kind of love. But anyway, that's enough for this week's story and ratings. So on to the news. News. Elizabeth, what do you have for us this week?
All right, this week I have the ratings for the episode, and then for our first, I have the synopsis for next week's episode.
Okay.
So first off, the ratings. Mm-hmm. For Changelings, ABC's Once Upon a Time This Sunday drew 3.3 million total viewers and a 1.0 rating, ticking down to its second smallest audience ever, yet rising a tenth from its most recent episode all-time demo low. Wow. I'm not really sure what all that means, but that's what I got.
Well, from the sound of it, it does not sound promising. Sounds like it doesn't.
I mean, if we get one more season, we'll be lucky.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what happens. What the ratings will be like in this next half season. ABC always has a tendency to not release as far as renewals or cancellations until very, very far into the season, almost like to the end of the season. So, yeah, I'm sure we won't be hearing any news one way or the other for quite a while now.
As long as it doesn't get canceled without wrapping it up and then a nice pink bow for me, then I'll be fine.
Yeah, at the very least, as long as they're told, you know. But to be honest with you, at this point, I kind of feel like they would need another season to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not successfully. I don't know the word I'm looking for. I have a big vocabulary, and maybe that's why I'm having such a hard time to find the words I want to use, because I have so many to choose from, because I cannot think of anything tonight. I don't know why. But you had some
problems too tonight. We're lost without you.
Come back to us, Tony. All right. What other? You had some more news to share with us?
Yes, I want to share the synopsis for next week's mid-season finale. So, wishes fly when Aladdin's lap falls into unexpected hands as Gold and Belle work together to discover an imaginable danger facing their son, and our heroes uncover a weapon capable of wounding the evil queen on the winter finale of ABC's Once Upon a Time. And there's a little bit more. So it's titled Wish You Were Here. When she learns that our heroes possesses a weapon capable of defeating her, the evil queen steals Aladdin's magic lamp from Jasmine and makes a wish that could sideline the savior forever. Unwilling to wake Snow while Emma is missing, David works with Hook and Henry to hold the evil queen at bay in Storybrooke as Regina goes on a rogue rescue mission, while Gold and Belle face a surprising danger to their newborn son on the winter finale of Once Upon a Time, Sunday, December 4th, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern on ABC Television Network.
Wow, that sounds like quite a bit going on in next week's episode.
It sounds like a bit going on, but I am so excited because I personally love season finales and mid-season finales. They're always the best episodes because they do tie a lot of loose ends up. And they are always really exciting, and from seeing the preview of next week's episode, Emma is in the Enchanted Forest, and Snow and Charming look really old. It looks like the curse never has happened, is how it looks.
I think that will probably have to do with the wish that Regina makes, or the Evil Queen makes.
So I'm really excited to see next week's episode. I'm sure I'll have a lot to say.
Yes, and if you have anything to say, you can always call in to our voicemail or leave us an email. Give us any kind of listener feedback you have. Our email is greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @GFStorybrooke, and our Facebook is facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke. Or if you want to hear your voice on the interwebs, you can always give us a ring at 424-274-2352. That's 424-274-2352. And unfortunately, this week we have no feedback.
Aww.
But like I said,
this makes me want to cry. Well, you don't want to make me cry, audience, do you?
We've been having great feedback every week, specifically from some of our regular listeners like Aaron, and it was great to hear from him in the chat room. And I do think that the holidays this weekend had a lot to do with why the why the lack of feedback this episode. So hopefully we'll get back in the groove. Like I said, we were away for 2 weeks, then we had the holidays. So, maybe next week we'll actually get some feedback. Run, don't walk to your computer, to your phone, whatever you have to do. Throw us a line. Let us know how we're doing, even not just about the episode. Let us know what you think about the podcast. And you can do that by going to iTunes, because I'm sure all the iTunes reviews have little to nothing to do with us. So let us know how we're doing with the new rendition of Greetings from Storybrooke. So I think that's gonna be about it this week, Elizabeth. I think we're through with our notes, and looks like it's gonna be a little shorter show than usual. Do you have anything else to add?
Thank you, Aaron, for joining us in the chat room. Thank you, Bill, for joining us in the chat room. And hopefully we'll get more feedback next week. And Bill said that there was some comments on the YouTube, but I didn't know to look there. So now we know to do that.
Yes, I will. I should. That's one thing I've been slipping on. I should have checked that, honestly.
I didn't even know. So now I know not to help.
And another thing I did fail to mention, just like Bill and Aaron did, you can always join us every Monday at 9 p.m. after Bill and Anne-Marie are done live tweeting Gotham. Join us at 9 p.m. at live.universebox.com to discuss every week's Once Upon a Time. And I guess next week will be the last week for a little while, at least.
Yeah, until the season comes back.
Right.
It's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Did I not say Eastern?
No.
Oh, well, you always have a good you always correct me on that, Elizabeth, and thank you. But until then, hold on a second. Maybe I should cue up the theme song. I was doing so well. All right.
Until then.
Right. Greetings from Storybrooke.